Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Alan Newell, and I am excited to be doing a video today talking about, building your direct sales, your network marketing business during these uncertain times. A lot of people right now with the pandemic, the coronavirus going around, there's just, what we look at as normal, there's really no normal anywhere you go. And I've got an amazing guest with me today, somebody that I'm really just truly honored to know and have worked with in the past and used him as a coach and a mentor for myself and my business. He's just full of wisdom, Mr. Ryan Daley. Ryan is written multiple books, has been a New York Times bestseller. He's written books about how to select the right network market opportunity for you, being a leader in the network marketing world. And he's sought after for his legacy. He's also been a distributor, a member, just like you and I, somebody who has been a top income earner for multiple companies, created a 7-figure income. So he knows how to do the business. He knows how to build it. And what's, really impressive is Ryan understands compensation plans. He's one of the most sought after people in the industry to help companies launch by putting together the proper compensation plan that's fair to everybody. And also being able to teach and train and do trainings and workshops with people in the industry to teach them how to build a business, how to be, I can go on and on, how to be productive, how do you make best use of your time? He covers it all. And he's got this figured out, and he really does. And just the times that I've been able to spend time with him on the phone or on Zoom calls or even watching him live on stage, it's just, I always walk away with pearls of wisdom. So I want to make sure that you get your pen and your paper out. I'm all about, some people do voice notes, and that's fine. But something happens in the mind when you write it down. Some are better at listening, some are better at writing down. However you can take your notes, whether it be your iPad, your iPhone, or your notebook like I use, make sure that you write it down. And I'm going to be giving away a couple of Ryan's books for those of you who are attending and watch this video and give feedback and share it. Ryan's book on being a leader in the direct sales business. I'm going to be giving away some of those books, and Ryan's been so generous as to offer that up for us, and we really appreciate it. And so, Ryan, welcome.
Well, thank you, Alan. Yeah, I love the time I spend with you and your team and your audience, and I just appreciate you offering me to join you and have a good conversation. I hope that what we talk about today can help people make an impactful impact in their journey, particularly at this trying time. This is great.
Absolutely. And Ryan, you've been in the industry for quite a while. I've been in the industry for quite a while, and we've been through different things that happen in the world. Remember 9/11, what happened then? That was 2001. It hugely impacted the world and our world, especially here in the United States. Then we had the .com crisis. Then we had, it's been lots of different things. The coronavirus now is one of the big ones. But remember in 2008, 9, and 10, the real estate market crashed. So there were hundreds of thousands of people that were all of a sudden, what they have been doing since they got out of high school or college was gone.
Right.
And we here in the direct sales business, it's interesting how, I talk to multiple different people from all over the world and their companies, and we're really growing at record paces. But a lot of the people who are going to be watching this video, they're in those uncertain times. They're the ones who find themselves frozen. So the first thing I wanted to ask you is if you are back in the field, and you are building a network marketing business, is now a good time?
Oh, Alan, that's the right question. You brought up multiple instances of struggles and trials and crisis in America and the economics of the world, right?
Yep.
And one thing that I've learned through my entire time, it's that this industry, particularly the nutritional market industry, does extremely well in crisis every single time. And so what takes place is this difference between perception and reality. The perception in our minds is, oh, things are down, stock market's suffering, something's going on, and therefore, and we then project assumptions onto the marketplace, onto the people we're talking to, onto their willingness to engage, their interest in purchasing a product that's going to change their life. And so what we do at that point is we freeze based off of projections and assumptions, not reality.
Yeah.
The reality is, in these moments, business goes booming. Individuals need to find opportunities to make additional income. They become open to new opportunities and new ways of thinking. There is a cultural shift that takes place in crisis when people realize that the framework they've been in is just as unsettled as it really is. Their 9 to 5 isn't as reliable as they once thought it was. Their pension, their 401k isn't as stable as they once thought it was.
Yeah.
Suddenly, they're open to new opportunities. And so traditionally speaking, crisis moment in America is the best moment for network marketing and direct sales. Every company, even today, all the companies that I interact with, as I've asked and consulted, all of them have expressed an increase in sales and enrollments, even within a crisis like COVID.
Yeah.
I will engage heavily at this moment.
That leads me right into the next question, because it's ironic. And, in this business, we've got the 75 percenters or 80 percenters, depending on whose chart you looked at, the 80, 15, and 5 rule. That 80% of people are there as customers, and they love being customers, and they might share with their friend or relative on an occasion. And then you got the 15% who, they're happy making $500, $1,000, up to $2,000 a month, and they're just kind of cruising and enjoying it, and they love the company. And then you got those 5% who are saying that, I'm going to die on the side of this mountain, but my goal is to multi-six figure. I'm going to be successful. I want to lead the charge. But what's ironic right now for me, and what I'm hearing, you hear the rumble in the jungle is, okay, so I hear you telling me it's a great time to build, but how do I approach these people without looking like a buzzard in for the kill?
That's right. So one of the things is leaders are developed in crisis. So it's easy to lead when it's easy to lead. And real leaders grow and reveal themselves when it's more difficult to lead, when the trying times come, right? Abraham Lincoln was a good leader, and then the Civil War made him great. And the secret to building your business, there's a few elements to consider. One, the secret to building your business at this time is, first, you have to stay steady. You have to stay steady to your principles, and you have to maintain a foundation for your team of activity and behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Because what a leader does is a leader creates stability. So when everything else in your organization and your team's lives are rolling and unstable, you have to be the stable footing in their lives. You have to be able to engage with them, maintain your message, maintain your meetings, maintain your consistency. And what you'll actually hear is, because you're more maintained, they'll actually hear what you're saying more and be more prone to listen and act. So one side is, how do I engage my team? I engage my team by maintaining all the activity I was doing before to show that I'm a pillar, I'm present, and I'm engaged in crisis and in stability. What's important about that is it doesn't just build your business now, it creates a foundation for your team to rely on you in the future. They will remember how you handled this time in supporting them and helping them grow in crisis, more so than other times. It will build the relationship. The second part is, how do you engage with customers? And the way you engage with customers is with the same direct enthusiasm that you'd have before. And you are unashamed. Don't think about it. Don't talk yourself out of talking with new customers, because they know it's a crisis. When we think that we're circling like buzzards, that's a projection we're putting on ourselves. That's not reality.
Right.
The reality is, when someone approaches me in this time of crisis and presents something to me, I know as a consumer that there's something important in that conversation. It's more important now than it was yesterday. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought it up. He's aware of the circumstance. I'm aware of the circumstance. You're aware of the circumstance. And the fact that you're still talking about it adds value to that. The critical point is stability, consistency, and continuing to go. The only thing I'll add to that is, with your team, increase your communication with them. This business is about connection. A sense of belonging is part of that. And the more you engage and increase your communication with your team, genuinely about how they're doing, the more they will become, I would say, connected to your message and more likely to engage in that message, more so than before. It seems counterintuitive, but now's the time to drive your team into action and mobility just by engaging with them more frequently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great feedback. When I look down, I'm taking all these notes because I've already got a couple of pages. But so stay engaged. And you mentioned something about being consistent and persistent and continuing to do what you've always done. And I think what happens a lot of times during these situations, these crisis times, is all of a sudden people in the field want to abandon the system that has worked for them in the past. And all of a sudden they want to recreate the wheel and go, well, this will probably work better because of the timing.
That's right. That's the biggest temptation that we have, is changing what we do because we think circumstances change. And I'm sorry, but a wheel that rolls still rolls. It's time. If it worked yesterday, it's going to work today. The trick is, are there times and places where someone with a competitive advantage is going to capitalize differently? Absolutely. But those are skill sets that take time to develop. What you do today, or what you did yesterday, will still work today, and it will work more today. Mm-hmm. So I always emphasize, don't change what worked, just continue to do it and do more of it. Mm-hmm. Like this. You should, if you're meetings and you're showing the product and you're connecting with leaders and then you're inviting, and that's working, you have to continue that message and continue that for your team, so your team is consistent. When your team realizes that the system works in chaos, they will know it works in peaceful times as well. This is the opportunity to prove that out.
Right. And I agree 100%. And I've had people that have said, what about, I've been through this list, but what about people that I don't know? But, I'm friends with them on Facebook, or I know who they are a little bit. And I use an example, and I want you to kind of let on that. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change. Stay focused. We here at our company, we believe in invite, share, and connect, or invite, share, and follow up. Invite them to take a look at the opportunity that we have to help them either supplement or replace, in this case, a lot of times, their income. And I kind of said, listen, the train is running down the track. It's still the train. It's still the same rail that we're running on, but there's a whole lot more people over here who want to get on the train.
That's right.
That are looking for a train to take them from where they are, which a lot of times is unemployed and waiting on a paycheck from Uncle Sam. And if you watch the news at all, you know that people are most of them haven't even gotten a check.
That's right. Alan, that is so critical. Invite, Share, Connect, as that program, so simple, continues to go. So first of all, like you said, continue to do what you're doing. My challenge is take this opportunity to do something that you should have done, that all of you as leaders and individuals should have done before, and engage with those you don't know. Take this opportunity to engage with people knowing that they are in a circumstance where they would be willing to listen to a new voice. Right. To have hope again, right? That's one thing that direct sales and network marketing brings into people's life. It brings health, it brings wealth, and it starts with hope. We share a message where we can increase someone's income, we can increase their health, we can increase their independence, and it creates hope in them and allows them to see a brighter future and engage in something. Yes. At this moment, the individuals that you don't know need that message of hope.
Right.
And so take the courage, focus on that, to engage with people you wouldn't have engaged with otherwise. Now, I would encourage you to take this opportunity to do that knowing they need what you offer. They need the hope you're going to talk to them about. They need connection. They need a team. They need people to bond with. And they need stability. And you can assume that about everyone you'll come in contact with. So embrace that now, so that when you realize you could have talked to these people all along.
Sure.
It just makes it very clear that everyone needs the message you're sharing.
Absolutely. And then, I have, with people that you don't know or you don't know well, or even people that you've been to before who have said no. I was just doing a call last night, and I said, the best thing to do, vulnerability is the best thing out there. We've got to be vulnerable. Yes.
It's truthful. Yep.
It is. And people can relate to that. I know how you feel. I feel the same way. We're just as concerned. And so I was saying, let's ask people to help us.
Yeah.
So for example, Ryan, if I'm talking to someone who told me no 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago, I can call you up and say, hey, Ryan, I know that 3 months ago, this wasn't a fit for you. But right now, and I realize that, and I'm not trying to change your mind, but right now, I could really help you to do me a favor. And that is, I'm sure you know a lot of people just like I do that are needing to supplement their income or possibly replace their income. If you know of anybody, I would really appreciate you sharing that information with me so we can help and make a difference in their lives.
That's right. That's right. I love it, Alan. That's fantastic. That's the way to engage, because what we can also do is when we ask for their help, we can ask for their help and give them examples that, hey, I know things have changed. I know things probably haven't changed, but let me tell you what's changed in my business. In my business, I've got 3 or 4 people just this last week that we've been able to help supplement their income. And I know there are more people who need this. Can I have your help in connecting me with those people?
Yeah.
If you connect me with those people, I feel like we can make a significant impact in their lives when they need the money the most.
Right. And one of the statements that you made, and I think that people get kind of hung up on this, the statement that you made to me is in the book. You actually told me this before I read it in the book, which is when you start building, and right now, we have on my team, we've had over 2,000 people join during this pandemic. 2,000 people. We're setting record after record after record. And so the comment that you made to me is Alan, keep doing what you're doing, keep focusing on those new people that are out there looking for an opportunity, and the cream will rise to the top. Now, the reason I wanted to bring that up today is because we are having amazing growth, but what we're finding is we're finding people who have brought on 3 or 4 people, and they all of a sudden want to micromanage them instead of keep doing what they're doing. So I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit on that, because listen, you and I both know that you can send a duck to Eagle School.
He's going to be a duck.
And the 80, 15, 5, the 80, 15, and 5 rule says that the gym membership deal, I go to Planet Fitness, they understand about monthly renewals. If Susie wants to come in and stand around and talk to people for 2 hours a day and go home and never touch a machine, they're okay with that.
That's right.
She's keeping up her auto membership, her membership, and she's there to us. Some people are just here to associate with people. And so I've seen some people that are and when you first said that to me, I went, golly, how stupid am I? That's something I should know. As long as I've been in the industry, I should know that. But that's where when you find a coach, find a mentor, they say that thing to you that clicks. And I'm sure somebody's mentioned that to me in the past, but never in the way you did. So if you could kind of touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so that's actually, if I was to write another book, it would be called the milk jug analogy. It'd be cream rising to the top, because so much of my business at times has been implementing principles that come from that idea. And the concept is really, as you build your business and you bring people into your business, you're filling your bucket with fresh milk. You're bringing them in and you're filling the bucket with milk. And when you're milking a cow, when you finish filling the bucket, I like to ask people, what do you do? You've recruited people, you throw them in your team. And I said, when you filled up your bucket, what do you do? And they kind of look a little blankly at me, because most of them haven't ever milked a cow. I haven't, but just the analogy works. It's been funny to talk to people who have, because they correct me on little nuances. But what you actually do after you milk the cow is you take the bucket and you put it to the side and you let it sit. And what happens when it sits is the cream of the milk will rise to the top and separate. And at that point, they then scrape off the cream and they churn it into butter. and they spend a lot of time working with the cream. And with the rest of the milk, they pasteurize it, they put it in a jug, and they put it in the refrigerator. They do what they can to preserve it. They build systems around keeping the milk as good as possible, and they work with the cream. In network marketing, as we build our business, what we do is we bring people in, and then we want to jump right into management mode. Path of least resistance. We've all grown up to want to be boss. We've all grown up to want to be a manager, right? And the hard part of network marketing, guys, is really finding and recruiting. It's finding and introducing, and it's showing and connecting and inviting people. That's the work. And so who wants to do the work? I want to manage.
Right.
They bring 4 or 5 people in, and they go right into management mode. And they end up spending a lot of time with milk that doesn't really want to be cream, never could be cream, and doesn't have the desire. The biggest threat to a leader's business is time management and where they spend their time. You can get more money, you can get more cars, some people collect wives or husbands, like you can get more things, you can't get more time.
Yeah.
So spending time trying to churn skim milk into butter is never going to happen. And so the key element is to recruit, fill your bucket with milk, and then let the cream rise to the top. Let those who want it, who are going to engage, who listen, who act and apply the principles you're teaching, apply the principles and prove to you that they are leaders independent of your pushing and your effort. So that when you go and you work with the cream, it can magnify that and turn it into something like butter that's easier to maintain, that's richer, that's fuller, that can be preserved much longer. But the key to this, the one thing I want to pull into this is not just time management, it's what your job is. Your job in network marketing, your job title is not network manager, it's network marketer. If you're spending 80% of your time managing, then you're not doing your job. 80% of your time should be marketing and finding. So my encouragement is fill the bucket, put your team off to the side with tools and resources, see what rises, and then start filling another bucket.
Absolutely. And when you talk about that, the gym owners, the Planet Fitnesses of the world, if they went over to Susie and said, Susie, you've been coming here for 3 months. You've not had 0 gains. What's wrong with you? Why are you even coming here? Susie's going to leave. Susie's going to leave.
But Susie's content being there.
Susie was having a great time. And she was paying you her membership, her auto ship every month just to have a good time. But all of a sudden you ruined it for her because that's not what she was there for. She was with us, not to be pressured, but to enjoy that. And you mentioned something that's so important, and you said time and time management. All of a sudden, with what, we're not in the norm anymore. A lot of the people who are now even part of our team or those who we're bringing onto our team, they now are in what, you and I have been doing for many years, and they all of a sudden work for home. And that is a totally, what happens is you wake up, you drink your coffee, you start piddling because you've got nowhere to go. And next thing you know, it's 2:00 in the afternoon.
That's right. That's right.
So we really have to, with network marketers, we kind of want to train and retrain them on how to structure their life and their schedule and this. But the new people that are coming on board, their goal is, I want to make, I worked with 4 new people yesterday, and they're like, well, I need to make at least my bills, and I need to make $3,000 a month. And I said, and how long do you want to take for that to happen? She goes, well, by next month, but they just don't know what to do and how to manage that time to make that happen. So if you could touch on that just briefly.
That's right. So managing time is probably the most difficult thing, because what gets in our way is ourselves. What gets in our way is kind of, like you said, oh, it's easy. I don't have to do it, so I don't do it. Everything gets postponed. Everything gets delayed. What's critically important is first identifying what has to happen for you to have success. And I kind of joke about this, but it's real. If you want full-time pay, you got to do full-time work. You got to do it. If you want part-time pay, you got to do part-time work, particularly when you're getting your business going. If you want to get some part-time extra income, you should be doing 3 to 4 hours, right? 4 or 5 hours. If you want to do full-time pay, you should put as many hours in as possible. The great thing about network marketing is it compounds on itself. So that pay gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But the effort to build your business and what you get out of it is directly correlated. How much money you want to make is directly correlated with how much effort you put into it. It's the only business in the world that you actually are paid more for working more.
Right.
Here, you
Right.
do more, you get more.
Yeah.
And so it's critical to say, I need to do more, to outline the things you want to do that you feel like you need or should do to get you the results. And the way you do that is you work with someone like yourself, Alan. You identify the system, the plan, the goals, how many contacts you're going to make, how you're going to find those, what you're going to do, and then you got to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Struggle with doing them is we decide we want to do the easy things first, instead of the hard things. And so we go through our list, spend 4 hours doing easy things, pat ourselves on the back that we did part-time work, and then we leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reality is the hard things are the things that make you the most uncomfortable are the things that are going to drive your business. Making the calls, getting on the Zoom calls, having the meetings, contacting people, those have the biggest impact in your business. So when you make that list of things that you feel like need to happen, I always prioritize them by what are the things I want to do the least, and I make number one. And then what's the thing I want to do the second least, and I do number two. The best part is when you do the hardest thing first, all the rest seems easy. You find yourself cranking through and being more productive and getting more results than ever. So that's the general rule I go with is do the hardest thing 9 a.m. first thing in the morning, and then watch the rest of the list just float on by with ease, and your productivity as well as the results.
And I know you worked with Eddie on the compensation plan that we use. Right. And it's when you said that, and I was talking to Eddie about the compensation plan back when I was first, coming on board, which has been, right now about 7 years ago. And we were talking about the different things and different companies and different plans they had in place. And Eddie said something that has stuck in my mind that I use every time I'm talking to somebody who's a builder who's coming on board, and even those new people. He said to me, and you just reminded me of it because I'm sure you guys talked about it when you guys brainstormed and put that plan together. He said, Alan, I figured out years ago that people will do and only do what you pay them to do.
That's right.
And people get confused in this business because you're not paid to manage.
That's right.
That earns you zero. But with what they call the enrollment bonus, they call it fast start bonus, they call it a quick start, lots of different names for it in the industry. You get paid 5 times, 6 times, 2 times, 4. You get paid much more on bringing that new person on than you do managing those people who are skim milk.
That's right. And what we end up doing too is we want to be managers. There's something about from like 5 years old, you pretend you want to be boss. And we want to be managers so bad, we actually self-sabotage ourselves by forcing our team to need our management. Well, one of the things I see most often is I'll sit down with a leader and we'll go through their day and I'll watch and I'll realize, oh my goodness, you're spending 8 hours a day leading your team and managing your team, and you're not doing any recruiting yourself. Well, there's just so many of them. And what we do is we start to scale back. I say, listen, you only get 1 hour of emails a day. That's it from your team. That's all you got to do. And what you'll end up finding out is your team actually manages themselves pretty well. There's times when you got to jump in and engage, but you get paid to network and to market.
Yes.
You get paid to manage.
Yes.
So we try to pull that distance. And once leaders get the mind shift, the paradigm shift, that my job title is to spend, instead of 8 hours managing, I do 6 hours of marketing and maybe an hour of managing and an hour of relationship building with my team. Their businesses again engage no matter their size and start to double and triple. And then your team starts to see, oh, that's what Alan does. oh, Alan's making a big check and he's still doing Zoom calls and he's still recruiting. And guess what? I don't get an answer right away from his email. I better figure this out for myself. And then when Alan does respond the next day, he goes, oh, did this get taken care of? And you're like, yeah, I figured it out. Alan suddenly doesn't need to do it. The only thing I'm going to add to that is we get in this business for freedom. And to be a manager that's needed, a leader of people, isn't freedom. You can never go on vacation because you always have to qualify at the end of the month. You can never go on vacation because you got email stacking up because you got to fix this and fix that for them and fix that. But a leader of leaders is truly free. A leader of a team that can manage and take care of themselves and be accountable and responsible because of the way you've led them means you can go on vacation and the business won't burn down.
Yes.
That's where we need to get to.
Yeah. There's a quote that I heard, many years ago when I started this business, and it said, leader of one, leader of many. But if you can't lead one, you can't lead any.
That's right. I love it.
That one is yourself.
That's right.
You can't lead and manage yourself and manage your time. And you mentioned something, you said your team's going to do, see, this business is all about duplication. So if your team sees that you're always available on text, always available on social media, always available to chat with, all I got to do is pick up the phone and call him, he'll answer, or she'll answer, then that's what she spends her time doing. So they get 6 people and decide they're going to turn into and duplicate what their upline leaders do.
Right. And the whole job is to find 6 more people.
That's it.
And then find 6 more people.
Yep.
And then find 6 more people and show them how to find people. And I guarantee you, your business will grow so much faster teaching people how to find people than trying to manage the handful of people you get to start your business with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ryan, I just want to give you the opportunity with just thinking about where we are right now in the world, what's going on out there, the hundreds of thousands of people who are looking for an opportunity. And we don't know who's on their knees praying right now going, dear Lord, I need to find a way to pay my mortgage. So, with that going on, what closing comments would you have for the people that are watching?
So the closing comment that I would give is you bring a message of hope and connection to people. And that's what they need most of all right now. And connected with that, you give them additional tools and resources to empower themselves, to generate more revenue, to be healthier, to share and get additional income, and to actually change the lives of their network themselves. So I encourage everyone on the call to put their pride aside. Just put it away. Don't be afraid of being rejected or being told no. You're going to hear that. That's okay. Don't be so prideful that you can't hear that. But you have to share and you have to offer and extend, because the lives you will bless now and the lives you will change in this moment of time will be the most meaningful experiences that you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ryan, I appreciate your time, and it's been very insightful. Great words of wisdom. And don't forget, folks, Ryan's got some books out there. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them pretty much anywhere. And he didn't come on here to sell a book, I can tell you that, because he said, Alan, we'll give away some books. So I'm going to look at the people that have done this, and we'll select somebody or 2 people that can either views and who can win a book. Ryan, thank you for your time, my friend.
Thank you, Alan. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to the future.